Welcome to Math with Professor V. Here's your latest integral of the day. And as a special treat, I'm going to solve this integral using two different approaches or techniques. Thought it would be fun. We have the indefinite integral of tan inverse of x over x squared dx. So go ahead, pause the video if you want to try it on your own. I'm going to jump right into the first method. So method one begins by using integration by parts. So integration by parts is great to use anytime you have an inverse trig function in your integrand because we don't know their antiderivatives off the top of our head. We usually use integration by parts to derive them. So if you see one, that's a good signal. If just direct u sub won't work, you know what I mean? Okay, so we're going to let u be tan inverse of x, and then dv would be 1 over x squared dx. And I know I'm going to have to take the antiderivative of that in just a hot second. So let's rewrite this as x to the negative second dx. There we go. Okay, so then du, derivative of tan inverse of x is 1 over 1 plus x squared dx. And then v, antiderivative of dv, you're going to add 1 to the exponent, divide by the new exponent. So then it's negative x to the negative first, which we can rewrite as negative 1 over x. Beautiful. So then we can come back, rewrite our integral with our by parts formula. Remember, it's u times v. So that's tan inverse of x times negative 1 over x minus the integral of v times du. Now notice, since there's an extra minus sign right here, this product's going to be negative. I'm going to switch the minus sign in front of the integral to a plus sign now. And then we're going to have 1 over 1 plus x squared times 1 over x. Remember that negative's already outside, dx. How are we doing? Okay, let's clean this up a wee bit more before we proceed. So that first term, let's write it as negative tan inverse of x over x. And then I have plus integral 1 over, let's write the denominator as x times 1 plus x squared dx. Okay, good. So now we don't have to deal with tan inverse of x. Look at that. And then we just have to integrate this function here, which is looking nice. It's a rational function. Denominator is already factored. It's definitely time for some partial fraction decomposition. Partial fraction time. So let's just find the decomposition off to the side here. So we have 1 over x times 1 plus x squared, or if you want to think of it as x squared plus 1, that's fine too. So the decomposition will have the form a over x, because x is just a linear factor, plus, and then x squared plus 1, that's an irreducible quadratic. It can't be factored over real numbers. So then we need a linear expression in the numerator, bx plus c. Good, good, good. Now let's multiply everybody by the LCD, which is x times x squared plus 1. And then on the left-hand side, we're just going to have 1 equals a times x squared plus 1 plus bx plus c times x. Great. Now let's distribute everything through so we can solve for a, b, and c. So 1 equals ax squared plus a plus, this is going to be bx squared plus cx. Lovely. And then to solve for a, b, and c, let's equate the coefficients of like terms. So I don't see any x squareds on the left-hand side of this equation. And I have an ax squared plus bx squared on the right. So 0 must equal a plus b. X to the first, there's no x to the first on the left. And then there's a c x on the right, so that means c is 0. That one's done. And then our constant, there's a 1 on the left, and there's just a on the right. Whew, so a is 1, and then that tells me then b is negative 1. Beautiful. So now let's go back. I can rewrite the integrand using this decomposition, and don't forget about this little negative tan inverse of x over x in the front. So negative tan inverse of x over x plus integral. A was 1, so we've got 1 over x. And then b was -1. So I'm just going to write minus x over x squared plus 1 dx. C was 0, so nothing to worry about there. Okay, from here we're pretty much home free. Antiderivative of 1 over x, we got it. X over x squared plus 1. If you need to write out the u substitution, you can. A lot of my students, when they're in Calc 2, once they get more comfortable, they can do this in their head, the u sub. So if you want to write it out, you would just let u equal x squared plus 1. Du would then be 2x dx, which we pretty much have, right? We've just got x dx, so then 1/2 du is what you're going to end up picking up. And if you do the u substitution, just make sure you split up this integral sign, because this 1 over x doesn't need the u sub, which is why I tend to not do it if it's something that I can just kind of figure out in my head. So I know I'm going to pick up a 1/2. I'm going to have a u in the denominator, so antiderivative is just going to be minus 1/2 natural log absolute value 1 plus x squared, or x squared plus 1. Okay, so write it out if you need it. Otherwise, we're going to just keep it moving. So we have negative tan inverse of x over x plus antiderivative of 1 over x, natural log, absolute value of x, minus, and then as I said earlier, we're going to have that 1/2 natural log, absolute value, x squared plus 1 plus c. Now, technically, I don't need the absolute value on x squared plus 1 because it's not going to be negative. But I'm going to take it further and combine these two natural logs because, like I said, I'm going to solve this integral in just a minute in a different way, and I want to show you how the two results are the same. So I'm going to simplify a little bit more, and I need to keep the absolute value bars because if you can't drop them on this argument and you want to combine your logarithms, then you can't drop them on this one, okay? All right, so how to take it further. I mean, this could be considered a correct final answer. So negative tan inverse of x over x plus natural log absolute value of x. And then I'm going to write minus natural log. Remember, this 1/2, I can move it and make it the exponent on x squared plus 1. Yes, I can. So then it's going to be absolute value radical x squared plus 1 plus c. And then we can use our log properties and combine these into a single logarithm. So we have negative tan inverse of x over x plus natural log absolute value x over radical x squared plus 1 plus c. Okay. So there you go. That's the solution from the first method where we started off using integration by parts. Okay, shall we do it again? Different method. Maybe some of you solved it this way instead, so I'm curious. Method 2. We're going to use a substitution, but of a different kind. So I'll rewrite the original problem. It was tan inverse of x over x squared dx. And it's along the lines of a trig sub, but it's not technically the way we traditionally set up a trig sub. Okay, so we're going to start off and let x equal tangent theta. And then same thing, I want to figure out what dx is in terms of theta. So let's differentiate both sides. So dx would be secant squared theta d theta. Now let's go back to the original integral and then see how this is going to help us out. So in the numerator, I have tan inverse of tangent theta over x squared, which is tan squared theta, and then dx is secant squared theta d theta. Good? Okay, so let's see if we can clean this up. So tan inverse of tangent theta is going to give me theta. Then I have this tan squared theta in the denominator. So really, this is cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. And then secant squared theta d theta, I can rewrite that as 1 over cosine squared theta d theta. Beautiful. This is helpful because then cosine squared theta cancels out. And then now I'm just left with theta times, I have 1 over sine squared theta. That is cosecant squared theta, d theta. And then now I'm in a position where I can do integration by parts, but maybe you like these functions a little bit better. So again, let's choose u and dv appropriately. Let's let u be theta, okay, because we do know the antiderivative of cosecant squared theta. Yes, we do. Do you remember who it is? Good, it's negative cotangent theta. Just think, do you know the antiderivative of secant squared theta? That one you probably know quicker, right? Oh, tan theta. So then if it's cosecant squared, it would be cotangent, just add the minus sign. And then du would just be 1 d theta. Okay, very good. So then now we can rewrite this as u times v. So that's negative theta cotangent theta minus integral v du. Again, there's an extra minus sign, so let's switch this to a plus. Cotangent theta d theta. Good? Okay. Most of the time people just memorize, right? Antiderivative of cotangent theta. But if you forget it, it's not a hard one to come up with. You just rewrite cotangent as cosine theta over sine theta, and you do a cute little u sub, and things work out so great. But it comes up often enough, I would say, just memorize it. So we have negative theta cotangent theta plus antiderivative of cotangent theta is natural log absolute value sine theta. Boom. How's it looking? I love it. Okay, we have to go back to the original variable, which was x. So remember, we had made the substitution in the beginning of the problem, let x equal tan theta. Think of this as x over 1. We're going to draw a triangle. So tangent of theta is the ratio of the opposite side over the adjacent. And then the hypotenuse is going to be square root x squared plus 1. So let's use the triangle now. We're going to rewrite everything in terms of x's. So we have negative theta. Since x was tan theta, then that means plain old theta is just tan inverse of x. Okay. And then cotangent theta is reciprocal of tan theta, or come to your cute little triangle, however you want to slice and dice it. Ratio of adjacent over opposite. So that's going to be 1 over x. Good? Beautiful. Plus, we have natural log absolute value sine theta. Sine theta is ratio of opposite over hypotenuse. So this is going to be x over radical x squared plus 1 plus c. And then maybe now you see why in the first solution I wanted to combine all the natural logs together. That way everything would be matchy-matchy for both methods. And then just clean up this term. It's looking like a hot mess, isn't it? So we can rewrite this as negative tan inverse of x over x plus natural log. Hold on, that was too ugly for me to live with. Natural log absolute value x over radical x squared plus 1 plus c. Et voila. Same result, but two different methods. Both required integration by parts. This method we did a sort of unconventional trig sub, and then the other one needed partial fraction decomposition, but the integration by parts could not be avoided. Did you do something different? I would love to hear what you tried. Which method do you like better? I like both so very much, you know. I don't know if I could choose. Do I have a favorite? No, I haven't decided yet. But anyways, let me know down below. Did you like method 1 or method 2 better? And thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you are like, why is she using partial fraction decomposition? What is that? Then check out the video lectures from the Calculus 2 playlist. I have a lot of the videos on integration techniques linked in the description for this video. Don't forget to shop my merch. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Math with Professor V. I love you all so much. Thanks for your support, and I'll be back sooner than later. Bye.